What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm filming in my kitchen. I'm still trying to figure out where is the best place to film, and I think so far I like the kitchen. And the great thing is that the windows are right here, so I have daylight. It's actually 8 p.m. right now, but it doesn't look like it's 8 p.m. so I like that. I like the kitchen more than my living room for now, I think. Yeah. Before I get started with the video, I have some super exciting news to share with you guys. I hit 1,000 subscribers! I know it's nothing compared to all those channels who have way more, but to be honest, I don't really care. I'm just super excited that there are 1,000 people who find my content interesting enough to subscribe. So thank you so much for that. I'm really happy. In one of the last videos, I mentioned that I want to incorporate more of my Vietnamese heritage into my videos, which is what this video is about today. I've been watching YouTube for a really long time, mostly Asian American content, which I really enjoy and can relate to. But for a year or so, I've been feeling like something is missing, and there is quite a bit that I cannot really relate to anymore, mostly because I'm not American. Duh. And I realized that there is not so much Asian European content out there, especially in my case, German Vietnamese. I did some research and I really couldn't find much. So I decided that I want to do something about it, and ta-da! Here we are! I want to talk about growing up bicultural and share my thoughts, opinions, and experiences on that. German and Vietnamese culture are very different from each other, and I really hate that when I talk to someone and they make this final statement of, oh, you're German or you're Vietnamese and nothing else. First of all, you don't get to decide that, I do. And second, why can it only be this or that if I grew up in both cultures? Sometimes I can be super Vietnamese and sometimes I can be hella German, and I want to dive into it and break it down into different topics. So let's get started. Hell yeah, I do. Honestly, it makes me scream internally when I go to other places and they keep their shoes on there. Ugh, it makes me like cringe. And when I have people coming over to my place for the first time, I do observe whether they are taking their shoes off or not. And if they don't, I definitely tell them to. I mentioned this in a video before. I grew up with both languages and I'm also fluent in German and in Vietnamese. To be honest, currently I feel more comfortable with English because that's like the language I've been talking the most in the last years. If I would have to choose between Vietnamese and German, then I would definitely say that I'm more comfortable with German because I grew up here and it's the language I used in school and spoke for the most part. Vietnamese, I'm fluent in it, but it's a very difficult language, and how you talk really depends on who you're talking to. I talk Vietnamese to my parents for like 90% of the time, so it's very informal, and I'm definitely not fluent in reading and writing. I was never a straight A student. I wasn't even a straight B student. Of course, the expectation was there from my parents and also the pressure was there, but I just couldn't fulfill them. And I guess eventually they just had to realize and accept that my skills lie somewhere else and not in that department. My sister, on the other hand, her grades are amazing, and I'm so glad. I've mentioned this before. I'm so glad that I'm the older one with the bad grades and she's the younger one with the good grades, because I think the other way around would have been horrible. My worst nightmare and one of my weakest subjects in school. I almost got kicked out of my major in university because I failed twice. and thank God I passed in my third try. I still remember how I was in my internship in Brussels. I checked online, I saw that I passed, called my mom, told her the news, and both of us started crying because we were so relieved. I'm a rice person for life. I love rice, and my rice cooker is like one of the most precious things in my kitchen. I could not live without it. But don't assume this is like a duh question, because for example, my mom, she loves bread. She could just eat bread all day, just a piece of bread and just eat it. No, not for me. I'm not the biggest bread person. Like, I have to crave it in order to want to eat it. But rice, all day, any day, all year long. I'm a rice person for life. I'm also a Viet food person for life. Punctuality is super important to me, and I hate being late. I used to nag at my friends for being late just a few minutes. Not anymore though, not since university. I kind of loosened up in that department, and now that I live in Cologne, I feel like I can barely make it on time because I have difficulties estimating how much time I need to get somewhere, but only in my free time. When it comes to all the different aspects, I'm always on time, and I really don't like people who are just notoriously late. Of course you can be late. There's always something that can happen, but like, you know, this type of people, you just know that they will not show up on time, and that I kind of hate, because I think for me it has something to do with respect, and you should make the effort in being on time, because otherwise you're kind of like wasting the other person's time. That's my thought on it. As I said, something can always come up. I'm just talking about those who are just always late. I have never understood this Asian obsession with pale skin. I used to be naturally super tan when I was a kid, and my parents' friends would always be like, oh, she's so tan, she looks like a farmer. What do you want me to do? Stop playing outside or what? My skin is definitely tanner than the typical Asian beauty standard, but to be honest, I never really cared about that. Sometimes in the winter, I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of pale, and it makes me happy to get some color in the summer. When I was working on board, I was so tan, and I personally think it looks healthy, but I would never just go to a park and lie there and tan. I think that's more of a white people thing. The most serious topic for today, and to be honest, I don't think that there's a clear answer to that. It really depends on the situation, it depends on where I am, and also it depends on who I'm around. Of course, I had my phases of struggling and trying to figure out how I feel and which nationality I identify with, but honestly, I got to a place where I'm really proud to be both. It's like transitioning from feeling between two chairs to honestly embracing the best of both worlds. If I would have to choose though, which I don't think you do, I would say that I feel a little bit more Vietnamese. I have noticed that in many more things, I just tend to naturally gravitate more towards Vietnamese culture. If I would have to put it in numbers, I would say 60-40, but to be honest, at the end of the day, I take pride in being both. I feel right when I say that I'm Vietnamese, and I also feel right when I say that I'm German. It's just that sometimes the other person doesn't seem to accept that. Alright, I'd say that it's a wrap for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I would love to hear your thoughts and your stories. As you can see, there's like endless potential for more videos, so if you have questions, topics, suggestions, drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!